I am so excited to talk with you today about Riff Raff. It's such a, when you think of like a crime caper, but also kind of a comedy, it's hard to kind of put together the two elements when we're dealing with humor, but also kind of extreme violence. Tell me, what was it about this movie that drew you to it?
I just thought it was a brilliant script. Of course, I don't think there's anyone that would read that script and not say this is this. I mean, I can't imagine. I can't. I mean, that must have been like uh, an instant. I mean, I'm sure when John Pollono finished writing that, he must have felt pretty good about himself. And then,
Mhm.
Ditto getting his hands on it and be able to come up with the cast. And I just liked that it was such a wild ride, and it was crazy people. I could relate to all the crazy people, and I grew up just outside of Boston in a town that, look, we didn't have this going on, but um I don't know, there's sort of eh, the Massachusetts sort of persona of a lot of people. It's just they're like brutally honest and they don't edit. And
Right.
I remember when I was growing up, just like how people would just say, "Hey Jennifer, how you doing? Yeah, you look you look like you eat more in the summer." Or, people would just, people just say very blunt things to you. And I know there's something overly honest about the New Englanders, and even in the rough parts of town, they just cut to the chase. So I liked that about it. I really liked uh I love a story that moves as fast as, it's just what, it's just a wild, just accelerated. It's like
Very
an,
kinetic, right?
yes, very kinetic. I mean, yes. So that was it. And, I felt like maybe I could play her. And if I didn't do a good job, maybe no one would see it. But
I
then,
think it was impossible for you not to do a good job in this. And it's so funny because Ruth has you called it kind of like the Boston of it all. There's like a main charm to her. And I love the characters that you play always have this kind of it can be painted with this like stereotypical umbrella of like dumb blonde, but there's always something underneath it. And that's what kind of accentuates it to that next level where they always know a little bit more than we think they do. They always have an insight into kind of life and whether it's legally blonde, whether it's best in show, whether it's a stranger, there's always something about the character where there's a little something more there hidden beyond this genuineness. And so when you were looking at the character of Ruth, what was it about her that kind of endeared her to you?
well, I could definitely, what I think related to her the most was you know, people like Ruth, you meet them, they're very smart at observing other situations, but completely unaware of how they come
Mm,
off, unaware how, that they're doing something that is so sort of like, even when they're doing something embarrassing, they don't have they can't gauge like how they're coming off or just, um, but, but in the end, they're sort of like the most sincere person you'd ever meet. I'm not saying there wasn't some very shady stuff going on with, in their early days with, all the mobster stuff, but um, there's just something so pure about someone who lives in the moment, and they always say the truth, whether it goes,
mm.
they're not judging their response to anything. They're just sort of they're 100% genuine to them, and true to themselves.
I love that. And I think it's so true. The way you play Ruth, she had my heart. And especially towards the end, we kind of know what happens, but it's so, so beautifully done. Thank you,
Oh,
Jennifer, for taking some time to talk with me about it. I cannot wait for everyone to see this movie. You are fantastic in it and led by a fantastic cast of characters.
thank you so much. Thank you for
Thank you. You take care.